Well, guys, the Indiana Pacers on their first game post All-Star break come out strong. They defeat the Memphis Grizzlies by a score of 127 to 113, improving their record to 31 and 23 on the season, still firmly in that number 4 seed. And, kind of a slow start for Indiana in this game. They came out missing their first 7 shots and their first 8 3-pointers in the first quarter there, and then really started ramping it up, especially in that second quarter, where actually they put a 50-point second quarter together to have their season high 78 points in the first half to start it out. So definitely great to see them, after starting a little bit slow, to really get on a run there, and really a fantastic performance, all things considered, because, again, this is a Memphis team that is very good right now. They came into this game with 36 wins, so far they've been the superior team pre-All-Star break over the Pacers record-wise. So the Pacers, despite coming out struggling a little bit, they really came out shooting in that second quarter on, and really took control in this game pretty much from the second quarter on. It was the Pacers. It was all Pacers, and really just finished it out. Memphis, closed the gap a little bit in that third quarter to about a 4-point game, but then Indiana came back, scored 7 straight, and then pretty much cruised to victory after that. So despite the fact that early on and in that third quarter, Memphis made it a game, Indiana pretty much in control from the start for them. So great win here for the Pacers off the All-Star break against a very good Memphis team, and they did a lot of really great things there. So when you're looking overall at some of the team stats, Indiana outshot Memphis by a wide margin in this game. Indiana shot 50.5%. Memphis just a hair under a 41.5 shooting. So that's a big difference right there. Indiana also was able to get some baskets to fall, despite the fact that first quarter was pretty rough from a shooting perspective from the three-point line. They still finished at pretty much 38% from the three-point line. So not great there, but really down the stretch, they really started to play well there. Whereas Memphis shot a putrid 30.8% from the three-point line. So neither of these teams really could shoot the three very well in this game overall. But Indiana definitely in both those departments, from just a pure shooting standpoint and from a three-point percentage, really it wasn't even close. Indiana really was much better in both those areas compared to what Memphis did. And Indiana didn't play necessarily the greatest either in certain areas shooting the basketball. So really a struggling night for both these teams in certain ways. But Indiana clearly the better team shooting there on Thursday night. Now, when you get into some of the other stats, free throws virtually the same. Indiana's 81%, Memphis about 86%. Indiana and Memphis virtually the same, actually identical in terms of rebounds, 46 and 46. Indiana did get a few more defensive rebounds, while Memphis got a couple more offensive rebounds. Indiana and Memphis virtually tied as well when it came to the assist game, 28 and 29 respectively. Indiana and Memphis virtually the same in terms of steals. Indiana did have quite a few more blocks than Memphis did. In fact, they had 5 more blocks in this game than the Grizzlies did. And Indiana, was a little bit better in the turnover department as well. Indiana did have some more fast break points. They almost doubled Memphis in that category. And points in the paint, Indiana did win that one as well. And so pretty much in every category that mattered, Indiana, either was slightly better or much better than Memphis in this game. And of course, when you look at some of the individual performances here by both of these teams, and you kind of pull it up here, Indiana, Tyrese Halliburton had 22 points. He was 9 of 17 shooting. He led Indiana in scoring in this game. And then you had a bunch of different guys. Miles Turner had 17. Siakam had 16. You had Nesmith, who had 13. You had Nembhard, who had 11. You had Toppin, who had 12. You had Benedict Mathurin off the bench, who had 16. So you had a lot of different guys kind of in that mid-teens scoring-wise. So it was definitely an ultimate team win there. So when you have all of your starters in double digits in terms of points scored, and then you have two guys off your bench that are 12 points or better shooting, and then a couple other guys who had a few as well. You had Shepard, who had 7. You had McConnell, who had 7. You had Bryant, who had 6. So really overall, guys, it was a lot of different guys scoring for Indiana. And when your highest score is 22 and you score 127, that is the ultimate team win there. So, yeah, Indiana overall, a great performance there from the team overall. Miles Turner probably was the guy that struggled the most shooting the basketball out of the 5 starters. He was only 6 of 17 shooting, 3 of 9 from the three-point line. So definitely an uncharacteristic night for him. Everybody else pretty much shot near 50% or maybe a little bit over that. Nembhard, I guess, would be the only exception. He was 4 of 9, but right around that, right? So Miles Turner was really the only one that was really not great shooting the basketball, and typically he's been pretty good for Indiana. So, yeah, overall, guys, it was a good team win, and like I said, they were able to hold Memphis to really a poor night shooting. I mean, overall, I tell you what, man, Andrew Nembhard is a phenomenal defensive player. I mean, the reason he won Eastern Conference Defensive Player of the Month in the month of January, he was fantastic again tonight. And he held Ja Morant to 4 of 15 shooting, and he pretty much had him on lockdown about the entire game. He only finished with 12 points on 15 field goals. So that's pretty fantastic. And, a couple other guys that were contributors. Bain led them with 23. You had Wells that had 17, Jackson who had 18, and then you had a couple other guys that scored a few points for Memphis. But yeah, overall, guys, Indiana did a great job defensively, kind of starting to get that identity back a little bit. You kind of started to see that, I don't know, get a little bit back to what it was early in the season, right before the All-Star break. But to Indiana's credit, they really played a fantastic defensive performance and, got some pretty good night shooting from pretty much just about everybody. And so that's why they come into this game and they win by 14 and pretty much weren't challenged outside of a couple moments in this game. And really from the second quarter on, Indiana handled business up until that third quarter. And then fourth quarter, continued to handle that business. So, yeah, guys, like I said, Indiana moves to 31-23. So continuing to win, which is definitely very awesome to see. And, who knows? Maybe they could continue to go up the standings if they continue to stack on these wins, especially, wins against teams like Memphis, who is a very good basketball team. So, yeah, guys, overall, Indiana, great job here to secure the victory on Thursday night. We'll see if they can continue it moving on here from the All-Star break. Now that they've had their rest, they have their guys, and they have their final 20-some games left before the end of the regular season. So we'll have to see how it goes, guys. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you haven't already, be sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell, all that good stuff. But guys, that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, guys, go Pacers.